For everybody who's starting to play drums, I think the biggest thing to get used to is the sticks. If you're playing guitar, you're kind of using your fingers and your fingertips and your nails, maybe a pick. And if you're using a bass, then you're not really using a pick, you're kind of just using your fingertips. I think for any musical instrument, the percussive ones, I think that needs the most getting used to, especially because you are using mallets and sticks to produce the sounds that you want to produce. So that's the biggest thing to get used to, is the fact that you have two sticks that you use to produce these sounds. I think grip is really important. It's exceptionally important because you shouldn't hurt yourself. That's the thing. Like I said, drumming is such a powerful and kind of primal, powerful, friggin' aggressive instrument that if you're not cautious, then you might really hurt your wrists or your arms or your limbs or your joints because there's so much energy the whole time, especially styles like rock and like pop punk, especially with the kind of new wave that people are playing these days, like really powerful big movements. It also needs to look good, and if the movements are that big, that's a lot of energy. And I mean, if you're holding the stick in a wrong way and you produce that much energy hitting a rim shot, if it enters your wrist in the wrong kind of way and you're not relaxed enough, you can really hurt yourself, which sucks, and you should stay away from that. I'm deathly scared of stuff like carpal tunnel and hurting my wrists in a way that I can't play drums anymore. I'm like scared like a little girl of that. So I really try to avoid it as much as friggin' possible. In the beginning, when I started playing drums, I didn't know what the hell was going on. So I kind of just picked up the sticks and started whacking stuff. I didn't think about grip and the fact that you need to be relaxed. You need to be aware of kind of the fulcrum or the balance point of the stick. I just picked it up like tree trunks and started bashing away, and that's really not the way that you should do it. Like I said, it's really this is the biggest thing to adapt to, the sticks. So it's not going to come quickly like that. It's not going to come like that. You need to get used to it over time. But it's really important to remember that you shouldn't just climb into it and really like play as hard as you can and while holding the sticks like in a dead grip, because that's really going to hurt your wrists. The way that I hold the sticks now after 8 years of playing is like a really balanced feel between these three fingers. Thumb, index finger, and middle finger. So that's kind of where it happens for me. Actually, what I read a really important, well, not important per se, like a really interesting article by Dave Weckl where he said the fulcrum, which is the balance point of the stick, isn't necessarily between your thumb and your index finger, which is what a lot of people say. He said sometimes it's most comfortable between your thumb and your middle finger, which is actually exactly how it's like for me, especially if I go to the ride. Like you'll see if I move to the ride and I play patterns on the ride, I kind of almost completely let go of my index finger. It's just the middle finger and the thumb. So that just happened by accident. I didn't even think about it. I just saw these two redonkulously big blisters forming on my middle finger, right like in the, what the flip is that called, man? Like the middle of my finger, what the flip. I just saw these two really big blisters forming, and I thought that's a mistake. I need to like fix my grip, because it needs to be index finger, thumb, because that's what I read and that's what I saw everywhere. But it just felt comfortable. It just felt more comfortable for me to use my middle finger and my thumb as the fulcrum point of the stick. And so that's the way that I've been playing. It feels like it makes me faster around the kit. Like I'm not putting too much pressure on the stick with my index finger and my thumb, but for some people that works better. So whatever's comfortable, that's basically my point with all this rambling. Whatever's comfortable for you. The main point of stick grip, the main point that I want to get across is to not hurt yourself. You should never grip this. You should never like give the stick a dead grip, like, because if you do that, you absorb all the energy. If you've got a dead grip on the stick and you hit a rim shot, all the energy that goes into the stick, produced by the stick hitting the snare, goes into your arm, into your wrists, into your hand, and that's not good for you, because you do hit the snare pretty often if you play drums, especially if you play loud, like I said, rock stuff. So it's really important to kind of have a loose grip. That doesn't mean you need to play like a wuss. It doesn't mean it's going to be like these really flimsy little strokes around the kit. That's not what it means at all. It just means you need to be aware of the fact that a lot of energy is produced by you hitting the drums, maybe by you hitting the poo out of the drums. That's a lot of energy. So just be aware of that and don't hurt yourself. I'll just I think I'm just going to play a little bit around the kit to show you. You can play at really loud volumes. You can extract a really good tone from the drums without. Maybe if you play really hard, you can play it really hard, but you never have to kill the stick. You should always be aware of the fact that the drums respond to the stick. You're not just hitting the drum is also responding to the stick, kind of bouncing it back. There's a rebound effect. There's a lot of energy that you need to be aware of. If all that energy is dissipated into your arms and into your wrist, into your fingers, that's really not healthy at all. So this is the way that I play now after 8 years of playing. I wish I could show you guys how I sucked back then, how I gripped the sticks and how I pretty much hurt myself many times. But I'm hopefully just showing you guys how I play now so that you can kind of learn from 8 years of me hopefully sucking less than I did then. So this is the way that I play now, being aware of the fact that the drums respond to the stick. So you hear that the tone from the kit was really good without me putting too much energy into playing. You can extract such a good tone from the drums, even with a relaxed posture, like a relaxed grip on the sticks, not killing the stick, being aware of the fact that the drums respond to the stick. I'm not saying that for a really big rock gig in front of like 50,000 people, you should kind of just that's what I said. You never need to play like a wuss. Drumming is a cool instrument. You can always look like a badass. That's not a problem. But all I'm saying is that you need to be aware of the fact that there's a lot of energy, and sometimes, well, most times, it's really, really healthy to be aware of the fact that the energy essentially is going into the stick. So if you've got a dead grip, all that energy will be dissipated into your arms, into your limbs, into your wrists. So it's healthy to have like a loose and a relaxed grip on the sticks, where it feels comfortable, with which fingers that it feels most comfortable to you, but just be aware of the fact that you need to be relaxed, even if you're playing loud.